Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the newsroom and welcome to the Goutopia News Network, your unreliable source for DSP News. This is the Snort Report. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with one of our favorites, Snort Burnell, DSP Gaming. Pay for everything. 50% guilty for being an E-Beggar. Earning money like a cam girl. Oh boy, so much to unwrap. So much to unwrap. So, first things first. Pay for everything. I've said it. Plenty of other detractors and critics have said it. Yeah, they pretty much pay for everything. He started them off years ago. A little bit here, a little bit there. Hey, donate a little bit of money to me to help me with some of these games and to get new peripherals and things of that sort. And it kind of branched off. It went from help contribute to here to go ahead and, please click the videos or click the ads on the videos and so on and so forth, to, hey guys, buy from Teespring, buy from Cafe Press, buy from One Up Box, buy buy some more t-shirts over here, to giving me donations back in 2009, 2010. And then once you got the Twitch, he went into full-blown, cam whore type status. So they've been carrying him for a decade. You know what I'm saying? It's people are right though, and the fact that people have been carrying him from an E-Beggar standpoint, meaning pay my bills, this, that, and the third for the last 5 years. I argue it's a little bit longer than that, but 5 years is at least a good starting point. But this is the reality if you're a fan of Philip Burnell. 50% guilty for being an E-Beggar. Oh, hell no. Yeah, that's 100% all on him. But we already know who the other 50% is going to be. Who's at fault. You know who it was who put him into that status. It's Tevin's fault. That's going to be interesting to hear that shit. Praise be. So we'll wait and see what that's about. And then earning money like a cam girl. To be honest with you, if it's associated with the Amazon wish list, as you guys know, that's an ongoing thing. There should be 2 broadcasts up on that so far. That's what Phil does. He should have done it sooner, to be honest with you. Just like with Patreon. He should have started Patreon sooner than he did. At least 2, yeah. Because I think he started Patreon in, what was that, 2015, I guess, is when he started Patreon, I think. But I think Patreon was originally established in like 2013. So something along those lines. He should have started that from the jump too. Might as well. It is crowdfunding. He was already accepting donations. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? To be honest. For him, I should say. Who cares what people think of it? You eventually end up going to it anyway. So, there you go on that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so let's go ahead and get into the situation proper. You know what I'm saying? We go ahead and carve some of this, carve up some of these breakfast melons together and whatnot. I got some breakfast potatoes for you guys. Pancakes. Well, not pancakes. We're still on the crepes. I'm still on my crepes kick. So we're still going with crepes, fresh fruit, coffee, cappuccino. Trying to keep it basic, trying to keep it simple, and bacon is coming. So you guys know how I do. So let's go ahead and get into the situation proper, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Snort Report, and this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG Network Hit production. You guys all know the slogan. I don't smell no bacon cooking yet, but it's coming. I promise. It's coming. And it's time to watch me work. 50% 50% guilty for being an E-Beggar. Snort Burnell's great.
Oh my god! What the fuck?
Holy shit! That is an epic fucking intro, dude. And I have to warn everyone. Warning. What you may see right now is going to be absolutely disgusting. Sound good?
Alright, that's Sounds good to me.
Crash Team Racing Nitro.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, yet again, we're here with Snort Burnell, DSP Gaming. Pay for everything. 50% guilty for being an E-Beggar and earning money like a cam girl. Whew. So hateful. So hateful. Here we go.
Fuel is a puzzle game. And what you mean by that is, like, you need to maintain maximum boost at all times in order to actually win races.
Really?
Wow.
Alexander Rossi says, what if you beat nitrous oxide in like 10 minutes, 4 hours of multiplayer? Yeah, pretty much. I'll just jump right into multiplayer and we'll just play that for the rest of the stream. I am aware there's much more to do in the game, like time trials and things like that. I just don't care about them. You know, once I've played through the main campaign story of the game, I'm not going back to do every single crazy optional challenge that there is in the game, okay? It's also absolutely hilarious because over the past few days, people have been basically on social media making fun of me for sucking at this game. Oh,
wait, did you just say Crash Bandicoot Team Racing is a puzzle game? It's a puzzle to try to maintain speed? Jesus Christ, Phil, then your life must be a puzzle game too. Because for Christ's sake, you're having a really, really hard time maintaining success, relevancy, fans, support. Oh, some semblance of being an average or a normal person, which is nothing wrong with that, Phil. I know you think that you're unique, and in some weird way you think you're extraordinary, but you're not. So I guess your life is one major puzzle too. I think I did say once though that I treat you like you're my personal Rubik's Cube. I don't know. I need to get a better Rubik's Cube. Here we go.
bad at games. I'm like, yeah, I'm so bad at games, except that I've beaten every Dark Souls, Sekiro. You know, I beat Sekiro quicker than most people. You know, it's not that I'm terrible at every game I play. It's that if you throw me into a situation where it's, you know, I don't have the prerequisite knowledge of what's going on, I will get absolutely dominated. It's true. In fact,
Wait a second. But couldn't that be said for anybody who plays a brand new game, whether they're familiar with the series or not? Just because you play a new game that's part of a series doesn't mean that some of the mechanics, the levels, obviously, or stages or worlds aren't going to be different and so on and so forth. What fucking sense did that even make to say? Oh yeah, if I have prior knowledge to a game, I'm going to do well at it. Well, yeah, you had prior knowledge to it. What the hell are you talking about? You fail at games, Phil, because you don't learn from your mistakes. That's one of the most extraordinary aspects of Phil Burnell, is the fact that you can watch him play a level, Jesus Christ, 10 times, 15 times, and he'll still fail at it. And then someone has to come out and handhold him. Or he, as Snort Burnell said, he has to go ahead and cheat and look up a guide or something. That's one of the most extraordinary aspects of Phil Burnell, is that he doesn't learn. It's for someone who's valedictorian, or was anyway, he doesn't learn anything. And I think that comes from a lack of common sense and just a lack of critical thinking. It's easier for him to lie than to figure out a stage in a video game. It's, I don't even know what that was about. Jesus Christ.
I'd say the only situations where that doesn't happen to me is fighting games, because at least in certain fighting games, I have some fundamental knowledge of how they work. And
that's not true either, because you've bitched about. I got a perfect example actually. You bitched about when the first time you ever traveled out of Connecticut to play against other people, and he got bodied. He said, "Oh, it's not my fault that I got bodied. I had never played anybody outside of my state before, so how could I have known what some of the tactics that they were going to use in this, that, and the third?" It's called adapt, bitch. It's called adapt. That's what it is. And you couldn't, because you lack the versatility. You lack mental and physical versatility. With that, since you have no versatility, which comes from the fact that you have no flexibility, you couldn't adapt. And because you couldn't adapt, you couldn't overcome. He's always complained about that when in his FGC career, and I use career loosely, that's the reason why he used to lose against certain people. Here's the funny thing. You're running around here taping some of these dudes' matches. You didn't pick up any knowledge at all from what you saw them doing? Now, granted, in the FGC or just online in general, everybody approaches a match in the same way. Your first round of any match is really more of a feeling out process. You're trying to see what your opponent's going to do and how they're going to react to you, how you will react to them. Are they rush down heavy? Are they turtle? Are they strong with the neutral game? neutral game. Sorry, so on and so forth. You gotta pick you're trying to feel them out. By round 2, you have at least some of that established, and then you can go ahead and start emphasizing and implementing what your plan is. And if you beat them round 1, so let's say you lose round 1, but you have at least the idea figured out by round 2, and you take round 2, then round 3 you should be able to close the deal. Now, granted, there are variables in that. You know what I'm saying? There's all kinds of components that kind of make this fall into place. You don't know if the other person is turtling. Phil knows that. He got cleaned up by an M Bison player in Street Fighter 4 on that nonsense. Remember that? You guys remember that? Oh, online play, only the shitty may apply. Got cleaned up. Well done, Phil. Well done. There are people that hold back on purpose just to see other people get their confidence up. There's all kinds of shit that goes into this. He should know that. But the point that I was trying to make is he's done all this before. And he's used those same type of excuses in the FGC or in fighting games in general. He still does. Oh, I've never played that character before. Oh, I didn't know that character could do that. Oh, that's too abusive. Oh, lag. Oh, this. Oh, that. What's the difference? Why is it that he has to have an excuse for every game he plays that he fails at? And he fails at almost all of them.
To at least play at a basic level, even if I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But in a game like this, where I never played the original, the game is very different from Mario Kart because of the boosting mechanic. I'm completely destroyed. Just completely destroyed. Alright? So, it is what it is. Go ahead and make fun of me because I didn't play the original. Har har har. Yeah, I'm a gamer! The game's hard as fuck. I don't care what anyone says. The game is ridiculously hard just on normal difficulty.
Well, here's the thing. If you knew you were going to play the second game, why didn't you play the first as a downtime playthrough? Just to familiarize yourself with it. An example of that is why a lot of people will play the oldest Call of Duty before they jump to the new one. Now, I've never really understood that because of the studio pattern or the studio shifting cycle and whatnot. But now that since there's only 2 studios now instead of 3, people just do that to keep their reactions and their reflexes sharp. Same concept. And you probably could have got the first Crash Bandicoot racing game on the cheap. You could have got it on the cheap, so that would have, I don't know why he was just too lazy to do that. Secondly, why would you try to even compare that to Mario Kart? Yes, it has the same kind of kiddie type feel, but you are talking about 2 games with slightly different mechanics. So, and when was the last time he played Mario Kart, ladies and gentlemen? Just throwing it out there. Just saying. DSP News.
It's very different, even from the classic Mario Kart games, where at least you could beat it on 2 to 3 difficulty levels before you really got balls to the wall challenged. This is like, oh, normal difficulty, get good. So, my criticism still stands. My criticism is still valid. You can love the game if you want. That's okay. For me, I think the game is just too fucking difficult, and that's just my opinion. Okay?
Oh, that's another thing. That's another thing. So we're playing the game on normal, and it's too difficult. Oh, that's hurtful. That's just downright hurtful. Imagine that. You're playing the game on normal, and you're getting bodied. What Persona game was it that he was playing on easy? He played it all the way to the end and then rage quit it. But the game was on easy, if I remember correctly, and he rage quit that. So if that situation exists, and it does, then of course this was going to happen, and that's what people make fun of him, and that's why people make fun of him. And he doesn't get it, or he does get it, and he's just too ashamed to say anything else.
My eyes, I'm crying. I'm like, oh my god, my eyes are burning out of my head. I'm crying like a baby.
Right now, sadly, financially, things are terrible for me. And it's tough for me to even afford the games that I need to purchase to keep my streams going. This week in particular, I have to buy 3 games in the next few days. So what I'm thinking of doing is creating an Amazon wish list of the games for streaming. And what this will do is just list right there, oh, you want to help Phil out? Buy one of the games for the next month that he's interested in playing.
Oh my god. It's terrible. Oh my god, what the fuck am I doing? What am I doing?
And if you purchase it right from the list for me, I'll get the digital code, ahead of time and be able to install these games ahead of time, and they'll just be there for the streams. And, that's a great way to help out. The other thing about this is it's the full purchase price of the game plus sales tax and everything, so I don't have to worry about, oh, someone's donating a game, but the game's $40. They sent me $40, but oh, by the way, it didn't cover tax. Oh, by the way, I have to pay tax now on, you know, on what they sent me. You see what I mean? Like, this way you could just buy it, I install it, done. It's an easy way to do it.
You're the only one. You're literally the only person who's delusional.
I'm also thinking of just putting up a few things there, like, for example, PlayStation Network codes for just credit, miscellaneous credit for PlayStation Network. So that way, if a game pops up out of nowhere, which is what's happened, take a look at some of the games that have popped up out of nowhere, that people are like, oh, Phil, you're going to play this? And like, oh, I didn't even hear about it. Well, this will be an opportunity for people to maybe just buy some miscellaneous credit.
Now, another thing, too. You know, he's someone who games for a living. And despite being on Twitter, there are a bunch of other gaming sites, reputable gaming sites that he could go to for upcoming releases, months in advance. Because they get review copies and so on and so forth, and they're killing the game industry, but Phil still feels the need to use them now. Whatever, semantics. He could use them as points of resources, or points of reference, I should say. I'm sorry, as to what games are coming out and this, that, and the third. That's all he does all day: play video games and then sit around and drink gin and wait for his wife to cook dinner, unless she doesn't come home that night and then he has to cook it himself. So he has all the time in the world to look all that up. He could do that while he's watching wrestling, or Dragon Ball, or watching Tevin streams. He could be doing these things. He could be doing a little bit of research while all this is going on, and he won't do it. Huh. Okay. Makes perfect sense. I game for a living, but I can't tell you what new games are coming out except for the ones that I want to play. Hence the reason why he doesn't know about any of the others. Because it wasn't on the list of games he wanted to play. More than likely all from E3 anyway. Because when's the last time you walked into a GameStop, right? Right? Right.
And send it my way, so if I don't necessarily get a game completely donated, instead I can just afford the game and buy it that way. You see what I mean? So it's only going to be things for streams. That's it. It's not going to be things outside of the streaming or anything like that. It's just going to be things for my stream so that it helps me afford the cost of doing this. Now, maybe in the future, if I have hardware requirements, for example.
Wait, okay, let me let him finish, because if you guys are on my wavelength, you already know where I think this is going.
Oh god, my controller's breaking. I really need a new controller. I could list it like a controller or something on there too. You see what I mean? I think this would be a good way, as things are, you know, progress on, and maybe I need something different for the business, that I could list it on there, and if someone's generous, they could. You know, okay, I'll get someone if he feels something new that he needs, right?
Okay, let me keep this on screen because it kind of falls into my point. So right now, just game codes and or games that randomly pop up that I wasn't going to play anyway, but you guys want to be idiots and ask me if I'm going to play it, and I really wasn't planning on to because I only want to play what I want. Because fuck all of you, why would I want to do anything that you guys would want to see? Anyway, so we're going to start off with game codes and random games that pop up. Then, oh, if I need peripherals, if I need a new controller or a new wire or eventually a new set of headphones for the business, then you guys can do that. Oh, you know what, guys? This laptop has been kind of shaky, man. It's lagging a lot and it's not loading up. And granted, I haven't run any type of antivirus software on it in ever, and I don't update any of the. I don't update it either through Windows, you know, because that's dumb. So, you know, those might be problems that I might have with it, even though I don't do anything to update the software or anything like that. But I might need a new laptop, guys. For the business, of course, I might need a new laptop. And then later on down the line, you know what, guys, I might need a new, you know, the new consoles are coming out, and I don't have any money. And you guys know that. You guys know I don't have any money. I don't have any money at all. But the new consoles are coming out, and how am I going to compete with the other guys who, you know, worked really hard and saved their money and you know, planned out for stuff, you know, because those guys are suckers. I need help, so you guys are going to need to send me the new consoles, guys. And if you guys do it this way, then I don't have to worry about leaving my house to buy the console, and I don't have to worry about paying any taxes on it. So it's a win-win for both of us. I can cover the new games and new releases and do an unboxing video. Well, I'll do an unboxing stream, which will eventually just shit out the video that I'll throw on YouTube, and I won't edit it or anything. And so you guys can get at least an unboxing out of it, and I can go over the new games. But you guys are really going to need to come up with this money for me to buy the new consoles. And I want like the most expensive version of each one of those consoles when it comes out. Yeah, it's just going to be the way it's going to be. And every new game that comes out on launch for those consoles, I'm going to need all of those too, because you're going to want me to go over those games. You're going to want me to do that. So you're going to have to do that also. Now, granted, he hasn't said any of that yet. I am saying that is what's going to happen later. And then we start moving from, oh, stuff I need from the business to, well, guys, I could really use another portable air conditioning unit here. It would be really, really helpful. Or guys, you know, Kat, you know, my wife, she's talking about getting back into gaming again, really seriously. And you know, Overwatch 2 is coming out soon for the new console, but we don't have money for another console. So would anybody be willing to, you know, throw us a couple of bucks to get that for her? There's a special edition pack out. It'll be great. Oh, guys, you know what? She's gonna need a new TV too. She would really appreciate it if you guys were willing to do that also. It'd be great. Her birthday's coming around. Did you guys know that? Kat has a birthday, and it's coming around the corner. It would be super helpful. Now, I'm not even done yet. But guys, you know my birthday? You know, the day that my mom shat me out? It's coming up. And money's kind of tight right now, and Kat's working a lot, and, you know, with the new baby right around the corner and everything. I'm sorry, I couldn't say it with a straight face. But, you know, Kat's been working a lot and so on and so forth. So, like, but you guys appreciate me and everything I do, right? So would you guys even consider getting me a birthday gift? You know, I'll put a couple of things on my wish list, and if you guys think that's something that you might be cool with, then there you go. And I'll put some random gift cards on there too, because what, you can get like a Visa gift card or American Express gift card. You can put those on your Amazon wish list too. You guys could just do that, and then me and Kat could have a fun day out. That'd be great. And then I'm getting ahead of myself because his birthday is not till April. Christmas is coming up soon, ladies and gentlemen. The year's flying by. Hey guys, you know, it's been a rough year for me, but I've really, you know, stuck in there, and I've hung in there, and I've done a lot. And you guys have been there, and you guys have had my back every step of the way. And I was wondering, you know, since Christmas is right around the corner, I put a couple of things on my wish list that, you know, maybe you guys wouldn't mind picking up for me. You know, just something for Christmas, just to show that you guys appreciate everything that I do every day. Now, of course, you guys appreciate everything because you guys give me bits and you give me subs and donations and cheers and so on and so forth. And you guys buy all the new games for me. But this is something a bit more personal, you know, just so, you know, you guys can be like, you know what? Phil Burnell's great. And I love Phil and his content. And it's Tevin's fault. So I'm going to get Phil a really nice gift for Christmas. You don't think none of that's going to happen. I'm not saying all of it's going to happen. I'm not saying it's all going to be worded that way. But I'm saying is it's going to eventually happen. Probably. And if it does, well, it's okay. No one has to say anything. I prefer you not to. We just all sit back quietly while we're sipping on that cappuccino, that coffee, that beer, that soda, for Phil, that cherry juice, and you'll know. You'll know. I'll walk into a cafe or something, and I'm just going to give you guys the wink. And you guys are going to give me the wink back. And we'll know. It'll be just a little thing just between us. We'll know. We'll know. This is going to be interesting.
Placement or whatever. But I'm not going to go crazy. Like someone was like, oh, you know, Phil wants a new laptop. You should list that on there. I'm not doing that. You know, if my laptop breaks and I absolutely need a new laptop, okay, that's something different. But I'm not going to start putting crazy upgrades and shit on there that I don't need right now.
There you go. He just confirmed it. He will do it. Just not right now, but he will do it. So you tell me a new TV for Kat, new consoles, all the brand new releases for those new consoles. You telling me none of that's going to happen? None of that's in the works? At least Phil's lucky that he doesn't have to worry about Nintendo putting out a new console for at least another 2 or 3 years. Well, 3 or 4 years. Switch is doing really well. So, that's the new plan, ladies and gentlemen. That's the new lick.
Okay, with my setup, everything works. You know, last year we had an extenuating circumstance where my PS4 was dying for like 4 months, and someone was very generous and donated a PS4 Pro to me. Yes, I did get a PS4. I did get a television. My new TV is pretty nice. Has a lot of, like just really cool features. It very quickly can zoom in and change.
I never went over that video. I don't think I ever went over that video. And there was like a video, I think, that followed it where he admitted that someone donated the money for that, or he ends up admitting that he ended up donating the money for the television. Someone actually bought him the PS4 Pro, or at least donated the money for it. But he ends up admitting that he's the one who actually bought the TV. I can't remember. I know someone will. If someone remembers, link it down below, please. Very much appreciate it. And I'll put that into the rotation.
And do stuff. My other TV used to be a pain in the ass. You had to go through a ton of menus and shit. My new TV, this TCL, is good. I recommend this TCL. It's really good. The response time is better than my old TV. It's easy to navigate the menus. The controller's useful. I like this TV.
But what's the point, though, if you can't see? And your reflexes and reactions are horrible anyway. But more importantly, Phil, you can't see. That's why the more and more people watch you, it looks like you're leaning more and more towards that television. Because you can't see. Just like the reason why you keep complaining about your eyes are burning. Because maybe you need to put some fucking glasses on, dude. There's nothing cool about being 40 and blind. Whatever.
$300 on Amazon. It was a good fucking purchase, man.
You see what I mean? That would be a perfect example. If a piece of hardware is dying, and you guys are seeing the negative effects of it every day on a stream, then I could put up a requirement, oh man, if someone wants to get me a replacement, you see what I mean?
It's disgusting, in my opinion. It's immoral.
Is the wish list against Twitch terms of service? No. The Twitch list has nothing to do with Twitch terms of service at all. Nothing. This is completely separate from anything like that at all. It has nothing to do with Twitch. In fact, you know, people get all these weird misconceptions. The only
Stop. This is where one of Phil's major problems. Is it against TOS for Twitch? No. And leave it at that. Don't sit there and go into pig-splaining about some shit that don't mean nothing and just goes down another piggy rabbit hole that no one gives a fuck about. Okay? I understand that you miss your childhood rabbit pet, but he or she is gone. Let it go. Stop trying to dig her up. Just say no. Because it's true. It's not against terms of service. There are plenty of YouTubers who have Amazon wish lists. They're just regular people in general who have Amazon wish lists. There are game writers out there that have them too. And as well as influencers and so on and so forth. The point is no. It's not against terms of service. Just say no and move the fuck on. But Phil wants to go into this pig-splaining to... I don't even know. You don't have to try to discourage someone from doing something if it's not against rules. At least one would think.
That Twitch has regulations against is, number one, it's bits, like things with bits, okay?
You mean e-begging bits? You already do that, though.
Anything with bits. Bits basically are not monetary currency at all. They're not. And Twitch basically says you cannot be doing any kind of, you can't do, for example, an event where you have a let's raise this amount of bits today. You can't do that kind of stuff. That's against Twitch's terms of service. Stuff like that. All right. At least from, you know, what I understand from reading Twitch. And then also, you can't say, oh, I'm doing a charity event, but you keep the money. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do that. You can't do that kind of shit. You have to whenever you're going to say something is going on a stream, you have to be fully transparent. So, for example, if I'm saying, today we're doing a tips fundraiser, and the tips are being raised in order for you to help me out with a certain financial situation, that's perfectly acceptable via Twitch. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. If you say, okay...
But wasn't that what you were doing the first time? Or were you using cheers and bits as the catalyst? I feel like that wasn't the case, because he doesn't see that stuff for 2 months anyway. I'm going to have to go back and look now. Because he was doing fundraisers towards the end of 2017, leading into 2018, and then he got slapped because... Instead of spreading it out and doing it every 3 months to every 4 months, I talked to G Money about that. Shouts out to him. He was trying to. It looked like he was setting it up to do it every month, but it wasn't through. It wasn't just beers, bits, and cheers though. I'm pretty sure he was focusing on tips. Something's not right about that. Either which way, that really doesn't mean anything because there are plenty of Twitch thoughts that do that. That have tip goals all the time. So, and sub goals too, by the way. So, what's the difference?
I have a Amazon wish list of supplies for the streams, and if you guys would like to buy them and help out the streams, you can. That's perfectly acceptable. You see what I mean? But Twitch will not allow you to do anything with bits, and you cannot be deceptive and say it's for one thing and basically lie and then do something else.
Oh, you mean like raising money for your taxes when you're actually using it for your wedding? Allegedly. And then he lucked out on that because mommy and daddy ended up paying for the wedding. I'm just throwing it out there. Semantics.
Scammer, and Phil took the money that he said was for taxes and he did it to pay for a wedding.
That's the only thing that Twitch is against. That's why people are so confused. Like, why is it Phil violates Twitch terms of service all the time, and he's always allowed to stay. I never violated Twitch's terms of service ever, not once.
And all of a sudden, a message pops up and appears in my stream chat. This account has been suspended from Twitch. My Twitch account, DarkSidePhil, is suspended for 72 hours.
In fact, the only times that ever there was any kind of trouble was one time I referenced how someone looked on a stream, and one time I said that we were going to do kind of, I think I said a fundraiser that was going to include bits, which you can't do. Like I just explained, you can't do anything regarding bits. Those are the 2 times ever that Twitch came to me and said, all right, you're in trouble, you can't do that stuff, you know?
But who would do... A bit's a penny, though, ain't it? Like, a bit is a penny, is it not? Okay, research time. Just a second. Oh, shit. I'm pretty sure... Let's see here. Okay, yeah, bits are a penny. Now, you can buy... Now, if someone who's contributing the fill, right? If they were going to buy bits, it starts at like $1.40 for $100 sorry. You would pay $1.40 US for 100 bits. But why would he do... But yet again, why would you do a fundraiser for bits and it's only a pen, and they're pennies, literally. They're pennies, and you can't, and the lowest amount you can buy is only 100 bits, and that costs you $1.40, which would make Twitch way more money than anything else. How much is... Yeah, that's silly. That's silly as shit. Anyway, I'm just throwing that out there. That's something don't sound right about that. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that one.
You know, I have been, like I said, I pay attention to Twitch's terms of service. You know, you don't have to worry about that stuff. I pay attention to what I'm doing. That's why I never get in trouble with any of this stuff. You know what I mean?
Trust me, I know what I'm doing.
All right, let's continue. Jesus was a brother man. Timmy $1 says, why do you constantly do the T-pose for the most minuscule things? I'm religious and from Brazil, and I'm highly offended for you doing a religious pose anytime someone donates $100 to you.
Oh my God!
What the fuck? Whoa! Whoa!
Stand his asshole, don't lose.
I don't think the T-pose is a religious pose. The T-pose is a pose referencing a generic stance for game development. When you have a character who's a humanoid character, the default pose is a T because the body is shaped like a T. It has nothing to do with religion and a crucifix or anything like that. Number 2, I don't do it for $100 tips. I don't know what you're talking about. Basically, you're completely off base. I think this was an attempt at trying to, like, make a joke, and it's not working. The G-Man tipped me $5. He says, if you do the Amazon wish list, add stuff other than games, such as computer parts. You never know when someone might feel generous to get you a component. Wouldn't hurt to just have it there. In time, you could get all the parts for a gaming PC, and then save on PC games with cheap key codes. G-Man, the thing is, I've not built a computer since the mid-2000s.
You know, keep in mind the fact that I've said numerous times that in the early 2000s to mid-2000s, I built gaming PCs for a hobby. I once had a LAN set up in my parents' house.
Yeah, but we already debunked that. He doesn't know shit about building PCs, so him buying computer components wouldn't be a good idea. He would just pay someone else to do it. I mean, Jesus Christ. He could probably have Kat do it for him. I have more faith in her than him.
Games such as Unreal Tournament and Quake, and I loved doing it. So I know all about it, and I know how it works, right? I used to be in that group of people who I wanted to play everything on PC. Like, I used to be one of you.
That was a long time ago. Alright, and I'm not saying essentially that the major build of computers has changed. I'm sure it's probably the same thing. You got your motherboard, you got your processor that goes into your heatsink, you got your RAM slots, you got your slots that you plug in your graphics card, your sound card, you know, your hard drive has to plug into there somewhere, you got your drive docks for CDs, Blu-rays, etc. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing. But I haven't done it in 15 years. I think it would be pretty dishonest for me to start asking for random computer components, especially when I have no idea what to ask for because I'm not in the know about that stuff anymore. And then someone just buys me random computer components that sit around, and I can't use because I don't know what the fuck to do with them. Or even worse, I try to do something and I break them.
So,
you know?
It's too hard to look up a couple of tutorials on YouTube. It's be too hard to go to a couple of PC building websites and look at their tutorial videos that they have up there and read through a couple of the forums and get it all squared away? You're telling me that Phil doesn't have a couple hours out of his day that he couldn't do that? I mean, that really? Like, don't be wrong, he doesn't have to be like that one dude, can't remember the name of the video, who tried to put a PC together and he got completely shitted on because, well, he fucked up. He fucked up bad. But at least try. He could have at least learned about this ahead of time. Same thing with that dude in the video. He could have, I don't know, looked into it a little deeper before he went about it the way he did. Whatever.
What I mean? I think that would be pretty bad. I really don't want to go into that and delve in that. I think that's too much of an irresponsible risk. So therefore, the answer for that one would be no. However, as I said, other things such as, oh, my controller's breaking, I'd like a replacement controller, right? Or things like that I think are essential to the business. Yeah, those things I would list on there.
You know, I'm a simple guy. I'm a gamer. I'm not a techie. I'm not a fucking guy that knows all the ins and outs of this shit. You're like talking to a lay person. You're talking to a gamer. You're not talking to an editor. You're not talking to a PC, builder. You're not talking to a techie guy. You're talking to a guy who just wants to sit down, press record, play a game.
The video I was referring to was by The Verge. Yeah, how to build a PC. That's that video. Now that I think about it too, there was rumors going around that The Verge was like having everybody's videos taken down over that. Huh. Even though it is fair use to criticize it. I mean, Jesus Christ, the guy was wrong. All the racism that they were throwing at him didn't help anything either, but fundamentally, when it comes to him building the PC itself, he fucked up. He fucked up pretty bad. Oh well, what are you gonna do?
Have fun, right?
Kanji Monster cheered and is wondering the tax ramifications of an Amazon wish list. It depends. Essentially, things that are bought on an Amazon wish list are considered gifts, okay? And there are different tax qualifications for gifts, depending on where you live and depending on what kind of gifts they are, monetary versus actual items that are given to you. Last time I looked into it, and this was years ago, okay, it was $10,000. And what I mean by that is, like, you can receive up to $10,000 value of gifts before you actually have to pay taxes on it in a given year. But that could be changed by now. You know, let me put it this way. Every single thing that I receive, whether it's a donation, like, oh, someone gifts me a game, someone gifts me a console, or someone sends me a tip on a stream, cheering and subbing, you know, the ad revenue I make from YouTube, Patreon pledges, and or anything else I may make as income, I report all of that to my tax guy, and he figures it out. It's too cut the tax.
Well, either which way, he definitely exceeds the $10,000 mark when it comes to donations. So that's just putting that out there. He definitely exceeds that all day and some.
It is far too complicated for someone like me to figure out when I have so many sources of income.
I'm a mature adult with a business degree.
He figures it out, and I pay tax on what I owe. So I have no clue if doing an Amazon wish list would or wouldn't benefit me tax-wise. There's no way to figure it out. And it's not my place to figure it out. Essentially, you know, right now I'm paying tax on every single tip that you guys give me to buy this stuff anyway. So
now this is how and why that Amazon wishlist is gonna bite him in the fucking ass later, because he won't take a few minutes to go online and research exactly how something like that will affect him. It's gonna be just like the old tax attorney back in Connecticut all over again. He just found another way of getting around it. First, he ends up getting caught with his business occupation tax because he thought he didn't have to pay any type of business taxes in Washington State. Now he's got this Amazon wish list. I don't know if he has to pay taxes on anything that's given to him or not. I have no clue. But if he does, he's saying, "Oh, well, I put that all in my tax attorney's hands." If his tax attorney just decides to skim past that and only look at the tips and the bits and the cheers and the subs, and if for whatever reason the Amazon part gets lost in translation, and or if Phil just forgets, and air quotes, to send it to him, in a couple of years, that could be a thing. It could be. So there's the new crisis.
I have to pay tax on the things that you guys would get me on an Amazon wish list. That's no different from what I do now. You see what I mean? So I'm used to it anyway. Okay? Fast food is healthy. Tip me $1, saying that my disgusting loud burps are a violation of Twitch's terms of service. Sir, If that was true, I would have been banned the first day that I ever streamed on Twitch. So I'm pretty sure it's not. I mean, I've been streaming on Twitch since 2013. And that first day, I probably belched the most disgusting belch ever. Vomited, you know, profusely on the stream. And I'm still here. 6 years later, I'm pretty sure it's not against Twitch's terms of service. So there you go.
It's really
That's a bit dishonest, meaning that he left for a little while because he couldn't get his way. Because an administrator came in and told him to turn down his bit rate. And Phil wouldn't do it. Well, Phil said he was willing to do it, but he was like, but these other guys get to do it, why can't I? And the guy was like, shut the hell up and turn it down. And Phil got butthurt and left the platform. So it wasn't like he was there the whole 6 years.
toxic content that should be moderated.
Vote Democrat. Did a 222-bit cheer. And that means that he's the top cheerer of the day. He says the following, I'm sure you've experienced this before. Any reason you call contributions tips, every other streamer calls them donations. Sure, because a donation is different than a tip when you classify it for taxes. And essentially anything that you receive on a stream is a tip, not a donation. I'm going to repeat that. Per the U.S. legal code of taxation, anything you receive on a stream is a tip, not a donation.
So he's gonna sit there and pig-splain to you guys tax code, yet he went 3 years without paying business tax. Makes a whole lot of sense. There's a whole lot of credibility behind that.
A donation is considered something given with nothing expected in return towards some kind of a non-for-profit cause. So if you're donating towards cancer research, if you're donating towards...
Look at how scared he is. He's doing this shit so that he's doing this, or he's saying this, I should say, so he can try to cover his pig butt for on all angles, so there's no way that he can get kicked off of Twitch. Or so no one doesn't report him for taxes again, which is what I think ended up popping off that whole tax situation in the first place. The thing is it's all the wording. It's all in the wording. As long as those other streamers, which I'm sure they are filing their taxes correctly, who cares? Do any of you guys remember a few months ago when there was a there was a bit of a war waged on Twitch thoughts on if they were filing their taxes correctly? The Twitch thoughts who knew what the fuck they were doing, they had their taxes in order. So they had nothing to worry about. Some of these other ones were trying to cut corners and they ended up getting fucked in more ways than one. But you know, it's just how the situation. Sorry, it's how the situation works. But Phil wants to sit here and read off piggy scripture like he knows what he's doing, like he's an upstanding, moral, law-abiding citizen, even though he got slapped for that 3 years ago. Or sorry, he's being slapped for not doing what he was supposed to do 3 years ago, while making his live-in maid pay taxes on her soap business the whole time she was there. Imagine that.
Building a non-profit housing for low-income families, or you're donating to Habitat for Humanity to build houses for low-income families, etc. That's different than giving a tip to someone who is a for-profit business. I am very much a for-profit business. You know what I mean? I am. I admit it. It's me. I make money. The money that I make, the profit I make, pays for the things around here, like my life, right?
I can't wait for the money. This is the year of the cheap cash grab.
Everyone knows that. So if there are other streamers classifying tips as...
Actually, would you consider that actually a profit or really more of a business expense? Because he needs his house for his business. He needs the internet for his business. He needs... he needs the lights, he needs food, he needs all these things for his business. Profit is after all of those business expenses have been covered, which is what's supposed to be in the bank, which allegedly Phil doesn't have. Yet again, ladies and gentlemen, maybe it's all in the wording.
Number one, that's completely false compared per the law. Number two, if they're actually considering them donations for tax purposes and they're not paying taxes on those, they're actually violating tax law. And if they ever get audited, they're completely and utterly fucked. I mean that. Like, they will be 100% fucked. They will be billed back taxes for all those donations that they received over the years, and there's no way they'll be able to afford paying it because there's going to be fees, there's going to be interest, there's going to be a ginormous amount of shit slammed against them, okay?
Phil stole fan donations?
That's actually not true either. All that stuff can be negotiated down. So there's a thing on that. But it's funny how Phil wants to sit there and shit on other people. It's almost as if he's hoping. He's hoping that someone else screws up on their taxes so Phil has something to say about it. That's pretty pathetic, Phil. That you sat there and fucked up on your own because you thought you were smarter than everybody else. You got slapped. You're still getting slapped for it, allegedly. And now you're almost praying for somebody else to screw up too. Should Pro Jarrett, outside of all the nonsense he's allegedly doing with little kids, should he have not have filed his taxes for 3 years so you can jump on that bandwagon too? Get yourself some more of that that Twitter clout? God damn. Like stupid. He's so dumb.
That went towards a Project 7 reboot. Now what I did, we just pocket that.
Now, I don't know anything about how other streamers do it, but I don't, I'm just going off of what Vote Democrat said in this cheer, but I'm just telling you, if they're not doing it right, they're gonna get in trouble. I know that I'm doing it right. I classified since day one when I accepted a tip, it was classified as a tip. It wasn't classified as a donation. So I'm paying taxes on all that, and that's why I pay so many goddamn taxes, quite frankly.
The wording doesn't matter as long as when it's filed correctly. That's the point. But Phil is so desperate to hope. He's so desperate, and he's hoping that someone else will mess up. That's why we had the pig explain through all that. Amazing. Amazing that you are such a bitter individual, right? That you have to pretty much pray for bad things to happen to other people just so you can have something to say about it because those same people had something to say or laughed at you. And maybe they didn't even laugh at him. Maybe they didn't know. Maybe they didn't care. But even still, Phil classifies everybody as an enemy, so he needs to pray that someone else will mess up. That's sad. How is that being positive? How is that being productive? How is that having a positive existence? But the detractors and the critics, though, are all brain-dead idiots that just basically are swimming around in negativity, and that's it. Okay, Phil. Gotcha, buddy.
Kanji Monster tipped me $1. He says, your tip alert literally says donated. Better be careful or the IRS may be coming for you. No, because it doesn't matter what the hell it says on stream. It matters how you report it. And I reported all his tips. So, it's all tips.
Okay, so, yet again, proving my point. It's all in the wording. It doesn't matter what the wording is as long as you file it properly. But yet, you went ahead and pig-splained about donations, but when it comes to this here, oh, it's all gravy, it's all wording, as long as I file right. Fucking moron.
Try to change that wording if you even can. I have it listed to say tips in Streamlabs, but apparently it doesn't change the on-screen notification. I'm not sure if you can actually change the wording. I guess I could look into that. Okay, Dolphin Splash cheer. He said, will you be ending Crash Team Racing Adventure Mode after beating Nitrous Oxide? You'll have time trial races to do before you actually beat the game. Those are solo races that don't have to worry about AI and power-ups. Maybe CTR could be more chill streams. No. I've had enough. The normal difficulty was enough pain and torture for me. I literally have no desire to play this fucking game again after today.
Pain and torture. Pain and torture. This is a kid's game. It's supposed to be for fun. Phil fails at it almost from day one. Even though it's on the normal difficulty. Can't see. Hence the reason why he kept running into walls and all that nonsense. He doesn't want to play it anymore. He's had enough. It's a puzzle game, dude. It's a puzzle racing game, and it's too much, dude. Wow. But I thought he was all about playing games, having fun, and sharing his experiences. He can't even get past a Mario Kart knockoff. It's not really a knockoff, but you know what I mean. A Mario Kart clone, if you will. He can't even get past that. Amazing. And yet he complains about having nothing to play.
And that's because the game beat me up. If the game didn't beat the shit out of me the way it did the past few days, maybe I'd want to play it again. I don't want to play it again. I'm serious. Like, the game caused so much stress for me just to beat the normal campaign, I don't fucking want to play it anymore. And I'm sorry, that's the fault of the game devs for making normal mode so difficult. I just don't want to play it again. I want to beat the boss, I want to do some online, and that's it. I seriously don't want to play it again. So, there you go.
Holy shit. He admitted a kid's game brought him to his hoof and knee? Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing that a kid's game brought him to his hoofs. Snout in the ground. It was too hard. I don't want to play it anymore. I don't. It broke me. A kid's game. That's all it is at the end of the day. He treats every game that he plays like it's supposed to be some type of major accomplishment or something. No, it's a game. Play it, have a good time with it. He can't even do that. So what the hell makes people think he's going to be entertaining? He let a kid's game break him. And that's not even the first game that's done that, but he let a kid's game break him. A kid's racing game. It's a, well, and when I say kid game, anybody can play it, obviously. But it's a racing game. And it's not even like Forza or anything else. It's just a racing game. It's a cartoonish racing game. And he couldn't handle it. Oh boy. Can't wait to hear your fans defend this, Phil.
Dollar and says, here's $1 because you still think that money is the end-all and be-all when it comes to life. You'll find out the hard way. I got completely exposed.
He's already finding that out now. He's already finding that out now. The thing is, though, about Phil is, I can't remember, it might have been an analogy that Tevin had brought up at one time, where Phil's kind of like a rapper who came from nothing, made a shitload of money off of one hit, maybe off a decent album, if you will, and then goes broke. And then goes ahead and talks about what he used to have. Now, obviously, that wasn't the full analogy. I'm just building upon something that I heard him say. But it's true in a lot of ways. Like, he had a run, if you will, and I'm not really wanting to acknowledge that, but whatever. He had a run, and he didn't save his money. He didn't plan. He didn't invest. He didn't do anything. He spurged that shit on dumb crap, and now he broke. Basically, either that or it's one big lie, and he just doesn't mind, and he gets off on humiliating himself to make money, which is even weirder, if you will. It's even more unusual, I guess I should say. It's definitely weird, but it's definitely unusual for someone to do that. Now that part right there comes from the fact that, well, what if Phil's not actually broke? What if he does have a bunch of money saved up? I'm not talking about the whole Cayman Islands thing. I'm just saying that, let's say people have brought to me, what if he has a bunch of money already saved up and he just does this to, pay everyday stuff, but in actuality, he has a bunch of money sitting behind the scenes. Is that possible? Sure. It's absolutely sure. My thing is, how much money are you willing to humiliate yourself for? We're not talking about millions of dollars. We're not even talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. We're talking about, at the end of the year, tens of thousands of dollars, maybe. Is that really enough to humiliate yourself day in, day out for? On top of that, think about the long-term ramifications from that. Even if he has money in the bank, it's not like he can go without working forever. So what happens then? You know what I mean? Like, eventually that money's going to run out, especially if he's not investing, or if he doesn't have a real plan for the money, and or if he's not living within his means. Eventually, some of the people over there are going to grow up and realize, you know what, I'm done. I've given all I can, and I can't afford to give anymore. I'm not going to screw my future up to keep Darkside Phil on his shitty fucking love seat. You know what I mean? Like, just when you look at those long-term ramifications, what's he going to put on a job application? What's he going to put on his resume? Does Phil even know how to make a resume? Does he know even how to build one or construct one? No. I doubt he ever did. I don't know. It's just my thoughts.
According to the God, he thinks that I think that money is the end-all, be-all of life. That money is the great commanding factor. Well, there's a few things to say about that. Number one, there's a saying.
First we get the money, then we get the power.
But that's from a stupid, dramatic movie. In reality, before all this shit happened to me over the years, YouTube's crash, trolling, fucking with my business, and making, my YouTube channel become unprofitable, etc. When money wasn't a factor, I could do whatever I wanted. I would play whatever games I wanted. I would do whatever the hell I wanted. I would go to conventions and do fan service and do events where I gave away consoles and games and shit constantly when I could afford to do it. Then when I couldn't afford to do it, and I needed help from viewers, immediately
I somehow became the
first thing I gotta slap him with is all these things that he's talking about is because he had money. That's the first thing. Second thing, consoles. There was no consoles. There was just one console, if I remember correctly. It was a PS4. That PS4 was originally supposed to go to Panda. Panda didn't want it because Watch Dogs was delayed, and instead of her being smart and just taking the console and waiting until the game finally comes out a couple months later, she said she didn't want it, and then you decided to give the console away. Because your console was fine, and you didn't see the need of holding on to a second. That's what really happened. I know that because I've gone over that video. So that's what really happened with that whole console nonsense. Giveaway, sorry. So there was no consoles. There was just one console. Just saying. And you only did it because it was supposed to be a gift for somebody else and she didn't want it.
On the internet and an evil E-Beggar, when in reality, the only reason I ever had to do that was because people fucked with me. If people never fucked with me, I never... And
I'm leaving out one more thing. The only reason why he gave that console away is because it was the start of the new year and he wanted to start off on a very positive note. So what's more positive to start off your channel than having a giveaway of a brand new console? There was a marketing scheme, ladies and gentlemen. There was a marketing scheme. He didn't do that shit out of the fucking graces of his heart. His piggy heart. He did that shit on purpose.
The position I'm in anyway. Not to say that it's not my fault, because there's many bad financial decisions and things I've made over the years that got me into a bad position too. But essentially, it's kind of a 50-50 split here. The people who hate me the most caused me to be in the position to be an E-Beggar. Oh my god! That was great! Oh my god! What a complete idiot. And now that I accept these online donations and give shout-outs for them, now they could criticize me for being an E-Beggar, even though they're the reason I'm in that position. So it's incredibly hypocritical that anyone would ever criticize me for that regardless, okay?
Now, in reality, the God, you say that money is the end-all be-all for me. Completely incorrect. If that were the case, I would never be playing a JRPG. I would never be playing games that aren't hype. Like, right now, if I were all about the money, immediately when someone said, dude, Bloodstained's hot on Twitch, play it, I would have dropped everything I was doing and played Bloodstained. Okay?
Immediately, when people were like, dude, when this is hot, that's hot, I would just drop everything I'm doing to do the hot thing. Alright? I would jump on every trend. I would dress up like a character on stream. I would do every little thing to make an extra dollar. I would sell out completely, which many streamers have done. I have done any of that. I remain true to myself. A silver-tongued talker, right?
Alright, let's cut in. There's so many lies. First off, as Snort Burnell has already put up there, he's done everything that just about, at least up to now, at least, he's done everything that every other thought has done. Let's be honest. He's tried playing the new releases day one. He can't get a look and whatnot because the influencers and the reviewers will beat him out either which way. Now he has no choice but take the hoof. He's been basically taking the knee to them on that and accepting everything they say because he has no choice. As it pertains to the E-Beggar situation, Phil, no one told you to spurge your money out, to basically spurg on your money like that. No one told you to buy every little thing that you wanted and never save any of it. That was your fault. The reason why Phil is where he is, and it is 100% his fault, is if this idiot lived within his means, saved his money, and set financial goals for himself, he'd have been okay. I argue that Phil's best run was between 2011 and 2013. Just off of those years alone, though all that big money that he was making, he could have put that shit away in the bank and just sat on it and lived off everything else month to month while still gradually putting more money away. He'd have been good. Meaning that when he finally bought this house in Washington, was he going to be able to pay for it all outright? No. But he probably wouldn't have needed a loan, or he could have applied for a loan, shown them, hey, this is what I have in the bank already, and whatnot. They look at that, and of course they're going to give him the loan because, shit, he has the money to cover, and so on and so forth, and then he pays a big chunk to the bank, which in turn only helps his credit score later on down the line. Then again, that would require him to think ahead. On top of that, it's just living within his means. Just living within your means. He knows that now. Well, he doesn't live within his means now either, but he kind of understands that now, being that he's scared that he could possibly lose his house. But then, how scared really is he to lose his house when he still takes days off and he's still spurging out on money or spurging money while he's out? And we know he's doing it. He can keep saying that, oh, it was my day off, but it wasn't that fun because we couldn't go out and actually do much because there's no money. But you guys obviously went out. You were out all day because you said so. You said that you're extremely tired, which means you did something outside of walking around the mall for exercise, seeing how Panda's doing. Huh? He made a bunch of financial mistakes, a shitload of them, to be honest, which is what put him where it was. And then on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, he made one of the fundamental mistakes that you should never make. You should never assume that the way your income is or the job that you're at is going to last forever. You should always strive for something better. Phil didn't. Phil was making crazy money between 2011 and 2013, and he thought it was going to be like that forever. He's even said this before. When it all went into a decline, he didn't know how to adjust. So he went with quick fixes. He would go with quick little band-aids to try to cover shit up. Kind of like what he did with Panda when he finally asked Panda to marry him. Remember, he said it was a band-aid on an already broken relationship, which would have only led to a broken marriage anyway, to be honest. But anyway, so with that being said, all he did was these little quick fixes without actually thinking out what his plan should have been. In turn, it led to just basically more financial strife and a bunch of wasted energy that went nowhere, that did nothing. He accomplished nothing. He can sit there and blame the trolls for the false copyright strikes on the fan art, this, that, and the third, but that has nothing to do with how he handled his money up to that point. And especially, ladies and gentlemen, when he was already in a decline at that point. You see how that works? So that's what it comes down to. And even after the fact, he's the one who chose the E-Beggar. He could have went out and got himself a job. He could have gone out there and tried to start a career from the ground up. He didn't want to because he saw all the money that he was making over the years, and he's like, there's no way I'm going to take less than this. There's no way I'm going to take less than that. So unless like he can find a career that was going to start him off right at what he was making then, he wasn't going to be willing to take it. Which, guess what? Money is his end-all be-all. That's what it comes down to. Why won't anybody say that to him? I don't know. Maybe people do, and maybe he just disregards it. I don't know. But that's the truth. That's the reality. Dspnews.
I'm going to say it one way, and hopefully you'll believe it, even though that's not the truth. And that's literally what's happening here. The guy's a liar. The guy's a fucking blatant liar and lying to everyone. But people are believing it because they don't know any better. And that's why people come back to watch me. Not because I'm some fucking sellout shill who only cares about money.
So the God, thank you for that $1 tip. You're completely off base, incorrect, and you have been destroyed on stream. Thanks. Okay, my main man just cheered. He said, wear glasses for stream, you're supposed to.
Am I blind? I don't know how to cure this problem with my eyeballs.
The only thing I'm supposed to wear glasses for is distance. Meaning, if I'm driving and I'm on the highway and I need to see way down the highway to read road signs or see cars far off, that's what the glasses are for. Essentially, the glasses would not help me whatsoever in my office because I can see everything in my office. You know, it wouldn't help me at all, but...
Chronic liar.
My main man, Shit, a 50-bit cheers to tell us the Wolverine Toy Story again.
What? Phil, you have a problem seeing at distance, basically. If it's not right in your face, like a book... you have a problem seeing downrange. Hence the reason why you have a problem seeing stuff on your television. Hence the reason why your eyes are constantly bothering you. Hence a lot of things. And just because you respond to somebody, you call that destroying him? I'm so confused. The pettiness is well over 9,000. It really is. It really, really is.
Once upon a time, there was a movie named Toy Story where Woody and the pal, you know, Woody and Buzz and everyone were having fun. Then Wolverine was purchased by young Andy's parents, and Wolverine just viciously slaughtered all of them with his adamantium claws. The end. That's the story.
What? I went to a comic book store one day with my parents, and the Wolverine figure was there. And I turned to my mother and father, and I said, guys, listen, I want that action figure for my birthday. So, please, what I would ask you, I've never asked you to do this before. We know how rare that figure is. We know we've been to stores endlessly, and we've never seen it in the flesh. It's finally here in front of our faces. Please buy the figure now. hide it from me for whatever, for months until my birthday and give it to me on my birthday. And so like 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks in a row, they still didn't buy it, right? Week 4, we go back. It's gone. So my birthday came and passed, and guess what? My parents go, we're very sorry, Philip, but we couldn't find the action figure. I said, I told you to buy the figure. Why don't you listen to me? Like, it was such a no-brainer. All they had to do was buy it.
What a pretentious cunt. I'm sorry, but he is. Jesus Christ. Absolutely. Just an absolute self-centered piece of garbage. It really is. Just imagine, ladies and gentlemen, for some of you who have children, or for those who are like me who are aspiring to have children, just imagine you raising your kids. Just imagine you raising your child to be like this. Now just imagine raising 2 or 3 of them to be like this. Holy shit. And let's give his parents the benefit of the doubt that they really did try to raise him and his cousin well. And, you know, for whatever reason, you know, some type of disposition, so on and so forth, that led to lead to where they're at now. We do know, by Phil's own admission, that he has a cousin who was raised with him who has a drug habit. So you saw where that went. And then look at Phil. I don't know which one is worse, but I know that the fact that both of them came out of the same house under the same 2 parents, allegedly, leads to problems. It must have been a pretty dysfunctional household. At least one would think. I don't know, but one would think.
And they could have been it forever. I would have never bugged them for it till my birthday. I knew I was going to get it on my birthday. Because they didn't buy it, I didn't get it. I did eventually get it, but it was the second run. And of course, now it's a year later. Do you really think that something I wanted a year ago is as valuable as, you know, but then I was already starting to move into other stuff. And yes, I see someone asking in the chat, yes, my parents did have the money to buy it. They were just fucking stupid. Ivana Bendover did 100-bit cheers. Says, do you feel weird the way you make money is the same way a cam girl makes money? No, because it's not.
Oh my god. Try to do this a little bit.
Oh god! People contribute to me because I put out an entertaining service of gameplay, commentary, interactions. Cam girls do it just for the looks, you know. Very different thing. Okay, so there you go.
You do realize there are cam girls who play video games, yeah? You do realize that there are cam girls who play video games better than you, right? You do also know that they also, you know, guys paid them for the interaction. Shit, some girls actually paid them for the interaction. You do realize that, right? Just saying. You do know this, yeah? I don't know. You're a thought, Phil. You're a thought. Accept it. Live with it. And move on. Life will be easier.
To work and earn, they just were born with looks.
Uncle John from Jamaica. $2 million. If you don't think money's the end-all be-all, why don't you play an Atelier game? Because I'm not interested in them. They seem incredibly long, grindy, and boring, and I don't care about them. That's why.
What pasta do you prefer? I prefer a penne. Oh! Easy to eat. Oh! Phil's fat. Phil's a loser. Phil's a beggar. Phil's a scammer. DSP is a thief. DSP is a greedy fuck.
This guy's a bitch.
I have a micro penis.
Oh boy. Alright guys, sorry about that. Got sidetracked there momentarily. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's reset. Alright. So, ladies and gentlemen, what do we take from this situation here? Absolutely delusional. Feels delusional as shit. I've already given you guys my thoughts on where the Amazon wish list is going to go. So paying for everything just falls into that. The whole e-begging thing was completely his fault. Even with the bumps, the roadblocks that kind of was thrown in there periodically, if he had done right by himself and his... No, let me reword that. If he had done right by his money before doing right by himself, he'd have been all right. Just my opinion, of course. You know, that is what that is. And he's a thought. I don't care what nobody say. He a thought. He a thought. It is what it is. Because trust me, ladies and gentlemen, not every thought is a nice looking thought. You don't believe me? Check out Memology 101. Shouts out to him. Check out It's a Gundam. Shouts out to him. And check out some of their videos going over those thoughts out there. They're not exactly the, you know, they're not exactly the greatest. So Phil wants to sit there and talk about looks. It's not about looks. It's about personality. It's about personality. Personality is what carries the day, because your looks will fade. You know what I'm saying? Look at some of these chicks on Instagram. You've seen them in some of my videos, and it's coming back. But you know what I'm saying? Look at some of those chicks on Instagram. You think in 10 years some of them are going to age well like that? No, not all of them anyway. So your personality is what really carries the day. But you know, Phil would know that. But you know, he only focuses on the money because that's all he really cares about. Because money solidifies in his eyes success. But Phil has had money before, and look at what he did with it. Phil's one of those people who are just irresponsible. It's very possible his parents ingrained that in him. Who could say? But you already heard my previous example about him and his cousin and how they both came out living under the same house. So take that for what you will. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. I very much appreciate it. And I'll see you guys for the next broadcast whenever that happens. As the Amazon wishlist saga continues to move forward. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News, always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on at GTG Network and Productions. For the Snort Report, I am your host, /anchor GTG, and I'm signing off. Take care of yourselves. End of broadcast. I'm not an e-thought. Oh, you should have thought!